How have you been, my friend?
I can't complain.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, we're recording this on a very holy and sacred day. Well, it's actually La Befana in Italian, but I'm jokingly referring to for YouTube purposes, that thing that happened in January a few years ago.
Yeah, the insurrection.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I let my guests say whatever because I'll just go and edit stuff out. I don't know if you could say that on YouTube, but
you can't say insurrection too.
I think you can say
that. Make it sound worse.
Yeah. That was the WWE pay-per-view I watched when I was a kid. It was one of the first ones they did in the UK, and that was the one where Vince McMahon accurately predicted that the British are going to be overrun by East Asians. So,
you really don't gotta be Nostradamus to see that one coming.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, it's been such a year. It's been I'm doing this other podcast for the War Report with my friends, and we're trying to come up with an end of the year review. I'm well, there's so many things that happen. There's so many things happening now. But anyways, I wanted to talk to you for a while because you truly are, I would say, what would you say, a frog OG, man, the myth, legend. But we're not.
Brand.
Yeah. but I think we'll either here or the computer room will do an episode on your writings and your sort of, how should you say, online infamy itself. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to, okay, actually, before we get to the topic, let's introduce yourself, Orcbrand. I'm sure most of my audience knows who you are, but just in case you have some randos that don't know, who are you, Orcbrand? Who are you? State your how long have you been an alcoholic? What's your favorite color?
I am literally I was born in Ukraine. Just like I was. I did 9/11. That was me.
Yep.
My mom's a mail order bride. And cool. A billion people are going to visit me because I'm Hitler.
Amazing, astonishing, outstanding. I can't use any of that in the public.
You're gonna have to bleep all that out and make it sound worse.
Well, just for the record, he was saying Austrian painter over and over and over again. Oh man, but you've been around for so long. I mean, you've the man with 1 million accounts. I think the only person who has more Twitter accounts than you would be John Crumb, if people remember John Crumb.
Yeah, John Crumb. He's the one who took my content Emmy for that.
That's right. Yeah, you were in second place.
Yeah,
I was
John
there.
Crumb beat me.
Yeah. And I guess the monitor equivalent would be Mel Gibson fan. He's had 1 million accounts.
So he's back. He's back.
He's back. Yeah, he's back. But no, yeah. So you were the content Emmys. It was an inside job. They had to give it to John Crumb because yeah,
Where is he lately? I haven't seen John Crumb in years.
Me either. Yeah, it's he sort of disappeared.
You see where it belonged? Well, whatever.
It was called Masata, but where are the Romans now? Yeah, so you're looking at them. Oh man, yeah, John Crumb was a legend, but no, but I don't know, because there's so many early Twitter guys that people they're all coal merchants, but people delude themselves into thinking they're worthy of any respect because they've been there since 2011. That guy, that alien guy, what's his name? Johnny Sun, that Johnny Sun guy?
I remember Johnny Sun. I haven't followed him since 2014.
Yeah, well that's when he called out and he wrote this book.
Yeah, well 2014 was a different time. That was back when being a goon from SA, you were actually a good account.
Yeah, weird Twitter, I guess they called it.
They were a big inspiration for Orcbrand, actually.
Really? I never knew that.
I used to follow all of them. I had a Twitter since 2009. I used to follow all of them back in my stand-up career.
Oh man, that's crazy. So you were following like Will Menker, Crank T. Nelson, Drill, or Wint,
Drill,
whatever.
yeah, of course. I
Yeah.
don't remember everyone I was following, but I followed a lot of Cole. That's it's Cole now.
Yeah, they became irony leftists, which is kind of funny. But
But that was like on the cusp of like, that's where that's where we came from.
That is true. Yeah, I think like as painful as it is to admit, like, okay, but before we get to House of Leaves, just give us the landscape of what Twitter was like back then, I guess before the ascendancy of the frogs. Like you did have like those irony, like, well, they later became irony leftists, but you did have.
You could post whatever you wanted in like 2013. So you could be as racist as you wanted. Which is what I realized. Like, why don't I take this, what they're doing here, it's absurdism, and go with it like a completely out, like a lot of communists around, right? Like, what I do the opposite of that.
I remember Matt Forney.
And it blew up. It really worked. I mean, it was like, this is what the world was waiting for all along. This is the angle. People were hungry for racism in Obama years, man. People were like,
yeah.
But that's what it was. It really, you can't even say it now, but that's what it was.
It's very true.
And everyone everywhere was feminist, and they were gay, and they were constantly telling you how like you don't respect women enough and how you need to listen to people. But then when you do that, you realize like I hate them more than ever. Like listening to them has not made me like them anymore. And a lot of people didn't feel okay saying that in 2013 and 2014, which is where I started saying it.
Well, it's very funny because they were like saying that in Something Awful, but I guess now that they all have like journalist and podcaster jobs, they're like praying to God that the death of low tax means that those archives will never get released to the public. It's very funny. But
we remember.
We remember. Yeah.
They left all of it. Like they wrote it down, man. It's all written on forum posts. We read them.
Oh my God.
Never forget that when Jack, came onto Twitter for the first time and he said like namaste.
Crap. Oh my God. No, it's true. But so it's very funny.
I don't like make any of this up.
No, it's which is very funny because there's a form of like moral lying that these people do when it comes to like their actual past intersecting with what they're trying to do now. And I feel like that's why they hate us with such an intensity, because a lot of the old heads like you and Nightmare Vision, like you actually were there and you remember, and the fact that you remember is like a crime to them. Well, I mean, that's like a lot of things, actually. Like remembrance is a crime.
They try to hold you accountable for the most like based thing you ever posted. It's all they ever do. And when you're just standing there like, no, like I meant that. I posted that on purpose. Like they just melt away. You can do whatever you want.
I remember when you said that once in one of the videos. You were like replying to some like boomer live. And you're like, what are you gonna do? Here's my house. What are you doing? You couldn't come.
I mean, that was a bit that like that's just evergreen.
Yeah.
You always walk into it like, tell me where you live. Okay, here's where I live. Here's who I am. Here's exactly my name. Go find me then. Go ahead.
My name is Ivan Taran. I live in Poughkeepsie, New York.
People can't be real, and then they assume that you can't be real either.
Yeah,
it's like, no, man, no, I'm too real. That's your problem.
Exactly. And so I noticed like they always get caught off guard. Like there's like some crazy people that would have replied to you over the years. But yeah, and that's the thing, like remembrances. I think like one of your AI generated song rants was talking about that, like to remember is also to, in a weird way, to be like morally culpable in a way that these people don't want you to be. And like it's a similar mindset. Like I remember you had I think you posted on Facebook, but then Nightmare Vision screen capped it. You had this rant on people that claim to be empathetic and people who are
people. I hate empathy people.
If you give us the QRD of that, I think that's very pertinent today. Yeah.
No, I have a bunch of this is like the subject I'm obsessed about. It's like all these people who love empathy, but they're assholes.
Yeah.
Everyone around them like garbage. Look at their dramas. They tell you about empathy. Look at the drama around them all the time. Look at what they say about people they don't like. You know, at least when Chuds like want billion people to die, at least they're honest about it. Like, I hate them because they're brown. Good. At least you're fucking honest. At least you don't hold back. At least you're not like two-faced mother. I'm an empathetic. I really care about these people suffering. But then like somebody else is suffering. It's like, oh, that's treats. Whatever, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you really delved into that mindset as well. Like, I forget the exact rant, but like about how like the empathy is really a foil for this deep psychological need that they have.
It's a projection. It's all projection. Like, I'm imagining a person to feel bad for. I don't even know the guy, but you know, he has a tragic backstory. How do I know that? There's a guy from a third world country. He's brown. He's coming to America, and I want him to be here. So why? Why do I want him to be? Because he had a hard life. I don't know. His family got bought hell by the American government. Is that true? I believe it. That's how it works.
Yeah. No, exactly. And like the empathy mongering is it's something like Michael Savage said many moons ago, like the do-gooders will do you in all the time. It's like
it's all sentimentalism. It's just getting focused on like your feelings, how I feel about when I see this, how I feel when I see human suffering. It's the fact of life every single day, every second of existence for billions of people. They're suffering all the time. I'm suffering now, for Christ's sakes. I live in constant pain.
Yeah.
Is that what matters? How they're feeling? That's not how progress is made. That's not how anything is done in the world, caring about feelings and sentiments. It's what are you doing? What is the action you are enacting right now? Toward what end? With what intention? This is what matters, not your feelings, not your sentiments. God, I hate sentiments. I wrote a whole album about sentiments.
Oh yeah. And we could dive into that later, but yeah, that is true. Like which is very funny because to tie this into what we're talking about finally, I guess you could say like Johnny Truant's character in House of Leaves, like he realizes, especially if you read the Wallstow letters, you realize like those sentiments place you in sort of like a nowhere, like a listlessness, and they don't really like serve any purpose because they like those sentiments themselves he realizes are unreliable. I mean, the book is all about
echoes, and you're always chasing an echo, and you can't ever find it because it ain't there.
Yeah.
And that's the labyrinth.
There was that one line, I forget which fake academic that Danilewski like wrote saying, but it's like maybe the room is sort of like the hallway is like a metaphor for what was inside of you all along. But anyways, let's get to like the basics. Well, you go ahead, Orcbrand. Yeah,
it's all about the void. It's always about the void.
Exactly. But what is the void though? Like, okay, so like let's, before we get ahead of ourselves. So yeah, this series that I'm doing, I'm basically interviewing people about their experience and their reading of House of Leaves. And you said that you were a fan of the book. And so I wanted to bring you on because I think that, you know, you are like a very fascinating character. I'm just saying this because we're friends, but you know. So how did you discover House of Leaves, and like what was your first impression with reading it?
TV tropes in about 2008.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
It's not a glamorous beginning. It's not like you stumble on a library. No, I was down the rabbit hole on TV tropes in high school, and here's a crazy book. I had just read, I had just watched Evangelion. I played Xenogears. I was a fan of Silent Hill. This sounds like a scary book. I'm going to read it. And then I did. I was at the, I think I was assigned to read Ayn Rand at the time, and that's what I preferred to read instead.
That was actually a great choice. Yeah, because Ayn Rand's literature is...
Well, these were interesting to read side by side, this and The Fountainhead. I guess they ended up both kind of sticking with me forever.
Oh, man. Is there any, like... haven't read the Fountain in a very long time, but could you make any parallels? I mean, or I guess it's just a happenstance of you reading them.
Well, consider they're both about architecture. They're both about building up and blowing up houses.
That is true. Yeah.
It is about the freedom to create a space and the freedom to destroy that space and the interpretation of that space and who does that interpretation belong to. So for Ayn Rand, she would say that the creator of the space would be the primary interpreter, whereas Danilowski in his postmodernist sense would be whoever the in it is interpreting what it means.
Exactly, because Danilowski, it is about the non-plays ultimately, like the Markov
negative space.
Yeah, and we're surrounded by them. We're surrounded by spaces in daily life that don't really have a distinction. Like even corporate brands, like you go to McDonald's, you go to like whatever shop there is, and they all in every like place fundamentally looks the same. Whereas back in the day, there was sort of like a novelty. Like I know people like, you know, speaking of the irony leftists, I remember they like really lit up, and I mention this because it's actually in the book that I wrote. I remember they like really lit up Jack Posobiec because he had the Pizza Hut thread, or was it Will Call Distance? I think it was Jack Posobiec. And they're like, this is stupid, you know, that's right wingers actually do worship capitalism. But I think like it wasn't really about that. It was sort of about the loss of a fundamental aesthetic character to daily life. And like nowadays we live in like corporate blob world. So yeah.
Well, I don't expect them to understand nuance. They just pretend to. It's kind of a it's always about the appearance of intelligence, the thinking that you're getting a higher message than there is actually. And sometimes it is what it is.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like Domino's is not like Pizza Hut had a specific aesthetic. It very much did. And like to deny that is to just like to forget that what Pizza Hut was. Yeah. It's a product of capitalism. Everything is. You live in capitalism. You know, if you miss Blockbuster, you can boil that down to missing capitalism too. Yeah, you're a slave. You consume media. Congratulations.
That reminds me of Vaush, where he's like, don't you know there's no ethical consumption under capitalism? That's why we have to vote for Joe Biden. You know? Like...
Yeah, okay.
But it's true, like people are kind of like slaves to their own conception of things. But no, but that is a very interesting comparison, how Ayn Rand, it's really about the creator and it's about the sort of like owning of space. Whereas Danilowski, it's more about like, it's not just that the space owns you, but
like, what the fuck space? Where are we, man?
Yeah.
This place does not exist. It's literally, it's physically impossible. And here we are.
No, exactly. Yeah. And it's sort of like bamboozles those expectations of there being a sort of referent to a creator or to the sort of hand of what's...
Is there a house? There is no house. You know, the house is the text itself.
Yeah.
Because it's so many layers removed from anything taking place. Johnny Truant, then Zampano, then a movie that he can't see.
Yeah. No, and the book itself is a construction as well. Like it's filled with concrete writing and yeah.
That's the house.
Oh man. But so yeah, so you were reading it, and I guess like we're all sensitive young men have a particular attachment to certain forms of media. You know, the way I discovered it was through some lyrics to the to the band ISIS. They have this album called In the Absence of Truth. That deals with that, with Hassan al-Sabah, who is the leader of the like Islamic mystic assassin cult. Around the time of the
Assassin's Creed. That's how you got into it.
I never played Assassin's Creed, but they reference al-Sabah. Yeah, actually,
nothing is true. Everything is permitted.
Exactly. Yeah. Which I think like people do interpret as like a nihilist statement, but it really, in the context of Sufism and like Abyssinian Islam, it really means like sort of it's almost like a Neoplatonist type of message.
Well, who determines what's true and who determines what's permitted?
And yeah, exactly. In this realm, right? Because but then when it comes
or
to
is
relevant
more
law-
specific, or rather more universally in this context.
yeah,
I say that phrase all the time. Whatever it just means, I don't respect whoever is making rules around here. I think they're lying, and so nothing is true. Everything is permitted. I can do whatever I want.
It's no, but that's very true because like there are people, like I effing love science people, where they're like, they'll look at Sagan's like pale blue dot, but then someone will immediately like they'll like come in and they'll say something that's just like a total sacred cow.
Oh, we all live on a pale blue dot, and yet you care about racism?
Yeah. We live in a pale blue dot, but does that mean that George Floyd doesn't matter?
All men, even George Floyd.
That's the best one. That's the best one. Yeah. Does that include George Floyd?
Even Elliot Page?
Chaz Bono? Oh, nobody remembers Chaz Bono.
Chaz Bono? I mean, we already came up with all their ideas. They're just going to steal them from us in like 10 years.
That's actually happened. I think I said something about who is that like Bud Light person?
Yeah, I try not to remember their names, so I don't remember
Yeah, I forget, but the Bud Light trans person.
Yeah, I know. When you say Bud Light, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Oh man, I forget. I remember like making a prediction and it like exactly 100% happened. And it was like one of my like a viral tweet that I had. But anyways, so yeah, that is a great comparison between like the Fountainhead and House of Leaves. But when you were like reading the book, and of course it is kind of hard to follow because it is fundamentally like this sort of postmodern, unreliable narrator. And the fact that there is such a blending of like what is real and what is fiction. And there, like I found it amusing how Johnny Truant tried to like actually contact allegedly some of these academics in the book. Like there was that one line about how Camille Paglia told him to go told him to like piss off or whatever. Or like Derrida responded a certain way.
No, they all had like their own reviews of the movie.
Yeah.
They all each had their own reviews, and then sometimes Karen and like Navidson try to contact them, and they'd write in, and then there was a lot of responses. Some of them were serious or like mock serious, at least in the context of the book. Were like, I mean, I have it right in front of me, but I'm painting now, so.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I haven't I believe Camille.
But some of them acted like they knew exactly what was being talked about, like they saw the movie and they had a take on it. Basically, like these are a collection of tweets. Here's what Stephen King tweeted about it.
Yeah, Stephen King tweeted about it. Yeah, imagine like nowadays.
Stephen King.
Oh man, I think like Paglia responded about how it's like the unconscious mother archetype, and like Derrida, of course, mentioned difference, and I found that portion of the book quite amusing.
It's a self commentary. I mean, like which part of it isn't, but that one was like it kind of up its own ass almost. Like here's what Derrida would think. Like when I type in my tweets into ChatGPT and say like, okay, what would Heidegger think? What does Heidegger think of my shitpost?
What's your score, by the way? Now that they have now the Grok has a score.
I have not checked.
I think mine's like low. It's like 38 or something like that. I don't know what Elon means by positivity. Does he mean like you have to be like, I don't know, Ian Chungus or something? Like, yeah. But I'm trying to actually find in the book like the different academic responses. I forget exactly.
Let me get it.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Put my Space Marine down.
Oh, you're doing the Warhammer ones?
I'm painting some Red Corsairs.
Nice.
There we go. Camille Paglia. She has a very long section. Hunter S. Thompson. Jacques Derrida setting Artaud exhibit. I'm a big fan of Antonin Artaud.
Really, eh?
Well, that which is inside, which is to say, if I may say, that which infinitely patterns itself without the outside, without the other, though where then is the other? Finished? Good. Hold my hand, we stroll. Anything else? That's Karen. The house was windowless. I love that.
That is something our Todd would say. Like,
Well, here's Stephen King.
Yeah.
Writing, Public School 6 Playground. King. Symbols, schmimbles. Sure, they're important, but, well, look at Ahab's whale. Now, there's a great symbol. Some say it stands for God, meaning, and purpose. Others say it is for purposelessness and the void. But what we sometimes forget is that Ahab's whale was also just a whale. Typical pretentious Stephen King ass shit.
No, that's what I mean. Like, he really does.
He quotes his own sister. A Poe, he's 21 years old. No tattoos, no piercings. In front of a giant transformer. She takes out a paper napkin and reads from it. I was online. I had no recollection of how I got there, of how I got sucked in there. It was pitch black. I suspected the power had failed. I started moving. I had no idea which direction I was headed. Kept moving. I had the feeling I was being watched. I asked who's there. The echoes created a passage and disappeared. I followed them. This is literally Backrooms.
Yeah. Well, that's where it comes from, really. Like,
literally, the entire book is Backrooms. And then we have Anne Rice is quoted. Harold Bloom. There's a lot of Camille Paglia. But this is all a documentary by Karen Green that's transcribed here. These were not by Johnny Truant himself. Or, well, insofar as the entire book might have been by him anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's another ambiguity, whether it was Johnny Truant or like if it was.
Well, none of it was Johnny Truant. It was all his mother. So see, it goes like that forever.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, because me and Capitalissimo, we actually recorded like a huge thing about the Wallstone letters. So Camille Paglia says, how do I describe it? The feminine void. Douglas Hofstadter, who wrote, didn't he write, what's it called? Godel, Escher, and Bach. Hofstadter, Horizontal Edge. Stephen King, Pretty Damn Scary. Kiki Smith. I actually love Kiki Smith, by the way, the artist. I think it's texture. Of course you would say it's texture. Harold Bloom, Umherlect, of course.
Unheimlich.
I'm like, Thompson, your film didn't help. It's, well, one thing near two words. Effed up, very effed up. Okay, only 3 words, 4 words. What the hell? Who the hell cares? Very effed up. What I would call a bad trip. I never thought I'd hear myself say this, but lady, you need to lay off the acid, the mescaline, or whatever else you're snorting, inhaling, or ingesting. Check yourself into rehab.
Was that Dolly?
Hunter S. Thompson telling you to like check yourself into rehab.
Okay. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they asked like Picasso or Salvador Dali about it too.
Yeah, yeah. Stephen King, you didn't make this up, did you? Kiki Smith says, well, gosh, what color are hardly even any gray? The focus moves to one stuff, the surfaces, the shapes, the dimensions, even after all the movement. I'd have to say it comes down to that, down to the construction, the interior experience, the body sense there. Well, gosh, what makes the whole thing so visceral, so authentic? Well, it's funny because Kiki Smith's work does have to do with, especially like the female body as a form of construction. And so it's very funny how Danilewski like has to have such like a huge repository of knowledge on different thinkers and artists to actually like even approach this work. Like, I mean, I know it's very easy to say Paglia would say, oh, that's a female void, of course. Right. But
well, considering he wrote it in the year like over 1990 through 2000 where Google wasn't available. This is it's a lot more impressive than my Substack. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, no, it's very funny. Like, because Stephen King, like the way he responds is a typical, like in terms of horror stories, he really does have like the sort of what would you say, like bastardized American, like it's got to be simple, stupid. Like it's.
I mean, I'm a fan. I mean, like I'm not a fan of Stephen King himself, but I am a fan of his work. I read his book on writing, and he gives good advice, and he is he's a solid writer. You know.
Yeah.
There's a reason for his success. There's a reason we all know his name. There's a reason we all hate him.
Exactly, yeah. And then Rice says, I'm not so sure I care for that. So much pairing this masculine, this feminine. I think that's too political and obviously a bit strained. Of course, Anne Rice, when she isn't writing about vampires, writes erotica. Darkness is a male or female. It's the absence of light, which is important to us because we are all retinal creatures who need light to move around, sustain ourselves, and protect ourselves. George Foreman used his eyes so much more than his fists. Of course, light and dark means a lot less to a bat. What matters more to a bat is whether or not FM frequencies and jamming its radar.
Echo.
Yeah, it's all echo. Yeah. Then, of course, like Harold Bloom talks about repetition, or in Eastern Orthodox concept of kenosis, or unhomely as the uncanny is perceived whether we are remained of our inner tendency to yield to an obsessive pattern of action, unruling the pleasure principle. The demonic in oneself yields to a repetition compulsion. A man and a woman meet, scarcely talk, enter into a convention of mutual readings, rehearsing again what they find they have known together before. As Freud has, Imhalik here in his insight maintains that every emotional affect, whether its quality is transformed by repression into morbid anxiety, the uncanny brings about a sense of the anxious. Well, but that's very funny, because to pair that with what you quoted, our Todd, the sort of like anxiety with the unknown, or the anxiety with void itself, to write a book where there is such a profound absence of the other, where like there's even dust like dematerializes, the room swallows everything whole, nothing is left of it. Then like near the end you get more metaphysical, where the room like delivers Novitzin into his dream realm he had of going into the sort of like Greek mythologized underworld. But in the beginning you do have the sense of the total absence of human affect, and the sort of, in a way, like a lot of minimalist artists, whether like people like Carl Andre, they're like, here's a concrete brick, and like that's the art piece, because that's the absence of human creation, even though it's not, because he's got like an army of studio hands to like rearrange this pattern of bricks in a gallery space. But the point being is, like, if you take him for his word, you have like the attempt, especially around the late 20th century, of artists trying to find this purely uncreated space. I mean, you could say it's like all faking, but like there is something.
It was a way to express something that wasn't faking.
Yeah.
In a world that you recognize is faking, how do you express the truth that doesn't want to be expressed?
Yeah. But then that's what I mean. Like, how do you really express absence then? Of anything.
Well, let me quote myself. Truth is what remains when you file off the facts and peel off all the sentiments expressed through fiction, verse, or through paradox.
Yeah.
So, how do you do that?
Well, how do you do that, you figure?
Fiction, verse, and paradox.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You write them. You create them. You just do it. Creation is out of nothing, out of chaos. In the beginning was the void, right? And then God said, let there be light. What was there before it? Nothing.
And to conceptualize
the
nothing
void is both the creation and its own negation. I've written quite a lot about this, and I don't want to push my Substack, but like this is what I go into.
No, I'll link to I link to everyone's stuff, so I'll link to your Substack. Yeah.
It's that the nothing that precedes you and the nothing that comes after you are the same nothing.
Yeah.
So the void both creates and destroys. It gives birth and it annihilates. It's a recursive loop.
Oh, but even like in Buddhism, or like what you said is like reminds me of Taoism in the sense that
yes, exactly.
The formless like the formless fount is something that both precedes you or comes before you, and something that comes after you that
and
both has
in you.
Yeah.
It was without you, and it motivates all your actions, and the entirety of your existence is to be on the periphery of the void.
But then it just
the void.
But then it sustains life, but it also takes away that void in a weird way.
If it didn't take away, there would be nothing there.
we would be living in. I mean, we kind of are living in junk world, but yeah.
The meaning comes from the void as much as the void takes away all meaning.
Wow.
So eternal old, void, eternal new, a void in the void, and the present is somewhere in between.
And that's, but it's very interesting because we do sort of live in a world where we think the present is everything, to where like there is sort of like a cessation of that fundamental relationship to the potentiality of the void, to where it's like, well, okay, if you ask, for example, like if you ask like any person nowadays, like, well, maybe living in the Western world, like what is like the future look like, they would come upon basically the picture of the now, but like accelerated. Like,
right.
Yeah. And
you
like
have to kind of break your language to imagine a future. You have to think about things that aren't there, that nobody thinks will be there. You know, Dyson firmaments and solar panel skies. Fly away.
No, but then of course, like you can logically extrapolate certain things in the present into the future, but then events happen all the time that
there's no point in
make it conjectural.
The point is to just imagine it, because it can go in a lot of different directions. Yeah, sci-fi has been driving our technological development rather than the other way around.
Oh yeah,
fantasy does too. You have to imagine a future. Otherwise, it's never going to happen. If you're just imagining extinction as the future, well, just frankly, just do it. Just end it all. Because why exist? Because existence exists, it'll probably continue existing. So you shouldn't worry about that so much.
Yeah, that's like the ultimate like cosmic pessimism answer. It's like, well, then just be done with it. Then it's like, see you on the other side.
Why are you blackpilling me? Just go finish what you started.
Yeah, finish what you start. Yeah,
I'm white pilled over here. I'm gonna live forever. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm seeking to transcend things. You're gonna be stuck in the mud here, a crab.
Yeah, that is no, but it's funny because when you do argue with people that have this sort of I remember one time I was arguing with somebody on Twitter, like these like ethical nihilist pessimist people that talk about suffering all day and how you have to justify existence, and like that's why antinatalism is the only answer, blah 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 blah. But then it's
I love suffering. I mean, like I think we can all enjoy a little suffering.
Oh yeah.
I think if you look at suffering and go, that's what I live for. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to suffer. It's a lot more fun. Even joy is a suffering. People never appreciate things like joy as suffering, but it is. You ever enjoy something that you can't enjoy again? Now you're gonna suffer.
Yeah.
Remember your one-itis? Remember how good a time you had with your one-itis? Remember when you thought that could have worked out? Isn't it great?
And then it didn't. Yeah, and then it didn't. Yeah.
Didn't you enjoy yourself? Don't you enjoy thinking about it now? It's suffering.
Because even creation is suffering. Like you were saying, like joy is suffering.
Said it all, man. It's all suffering.
Yeah. Because that's what I mean. Like there's sort of like joy that can like. I mean, you ultimately like there's meaning and joy that can overcome suffering, but that's more metaphysical than just the average joy that people have. Like enjoying, like, and I think like people are fascinated with the idea of like enjoying enjoyment. I mean, that's why, we live in kitsch world right now, because people, they want the facsimile of enjoyment. That's like the second order thing.
Enjoyment. I enjoy the things I suffer. Vice versa.
Yeah.
It's all life.
Yeah.
You live in constant pain. Get over it,
But that's what I mean. Like, there's this very like, for people that talk about suffering all day and how antinatalism is the only answer because you have to like prove ethically that you can like bring people into this world of suffering. Yeah, but based on what? Like what? You don't believe in God. You don't believe in
any explanation.
Yeah.
I don't have to justify anything I do. If the universe means nothing, I can do whatever I want for any reason or no reason at all. Do I need ethics to bring life into this world? No, I don't. Why? Who says? Who invented ethics? You.
Yeah.
Spook. I'll put my Sterner hat on. I've never read a word of spook of Sterner other than spook, but that's the only word I need to know.
No, and that's what I mean. Like there is sort of like the confrontation with suffering that really bends these people out of shape, but they have these like very my theory is that like they can only like really exist in like a very sort of like decadent, technologically driven world, because if you have the ability to experience a life without want, and then your natural impulse, because you have some kind of like egalitarian nonsense going in your head, that it's like, well, the world has to experience this level of decadence that I experience, but that's impossible just by nature of carrying capacity,
What is
Malthusian
the
laws.
world though? Like I barely know the people I know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's yeah.
I'm talking about the world, what the world needs. Jesus Christ. I don't even know what my county needs. Jeez. I don't know what my own life needs. I don't know. I need to know the world. I need to take care of the world.
Yeah, it's absurd. No, it's totally absurd. Yeah.
People who aren't responsible enough to have babies and who will admit this to you, I'm not responsible enough to have a baby, have very big opinions about what to do with the world. You can't take care of a baby. You can't take care of the world. Are you kidding me?
No, it's true. It's like recently I was watching this I Hypocrite clip, and a lot of people don't like I Hypocrite, whatever, but like he's a guy that actually does have a wife and kids, and he was talking about this like recent iDubbbz video where like iDubbbz is going down the bread tuber route, and he's like talking about Ben Shapiro and Posobiec and like typical like pro abortion antinatalism stuff. But it's like, it is true, like these people, and I Hypocrite, like he says it very well. He goes, for people that like don't have children or don't have a normal relationship, they have a lot of opinions about how you should have children, or rather how you shouldn't have children, and like what it's like to like raise children and so forth. It's very funny that way.
So projection. It's such obvious projection too. It's like, I shouldn't have kids, neither should you. I don't know. Don't do what I do.
Yeah.
That, like, maybe other people have like a different way of life that they haven't figured out works for them. People who got married and had stable jobs and have kids. Oh no, global warming. Like, the world's not ending. You're afraid of your own death, and your irrelevance.
It really is death denial
on everyone else, but it's like, that's not true. The world is going on forever.
Yeah, no, it really is death denial, because I think like there is sort of like a monument, like, and you were saying about the void, and I'm just thinking about this now. There is sort of like a monumental narcissism in saying that the present conditions are all that it is, and like my existence is the linchpin of all things, and ergo the absence of me means that the world will end. And it's sort of like
what it comes down to for a lot of these people.
Yeah.
And they're like not big brained enough to notice that, or not introspective enough.
Yeah. No, because like you were saying, the world will go on regardless. I think there was even I forget which Greek philosopher said that, like when
delete your account for a year and come back and see what it looks like. I've done it.
Yeah. Yeah. Leave the internet for, well, that's impossible. I could never do that.
Just log off for a while and come back and see, oh, look at that. The world has moved on. There are things going on without you involved. You don't understand what's going on. You haven't been plugged in, and they continue going on.
Yeah, like people that wake up in comas and they realize like, oh man, the world has changed, but it's oddly similar. No, but that's what I mean. Like before, like last week we were talking about H-1B visas, and now we're talking about the Rotherham gangs.
I've been talking about both of those things since 2014, which is really funny. It's like, it's all full circle. I'm still on the same zone as I was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Everything I said that was true then remains true now. Now more people see it. I don't know how other people get blackpilled. It seems like everything I was talking about has caught attention eventually. It took 1,000 bands and I'll never get credit, and that's fine because it wasn't about that.
No, it's true. No, it's true. Like I've even seen memes or concepts and polemics that I've created that people take and like they run with it, and that's fine because it's like, I mean, yeah, there is kind of like, everyone does have that grain of ego, but at the end of the day, I think like that's it's more important to actually get something out there than just to be like, well, I stand atop the truth and it's like my originality that really matters. It's like, no, actually it doesn't, you know.
It can be completely derivative too. Nobody will give a shit either.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
it's really about product. Like, you know, what are you delivering?
Yeah, exactly. And there's stuff that you've said years and years ago that have now been reverberated thousands of times by, I don't know, like Kohlers like Ian Chungus, you know, that will never have an original, or Lex Friedman that'll like never have an original thought in their head ever. But, you know, there's like a whole wellspring of people that are intelligent and creative that they have access to. And it's sort of like that's the dialectic. And unfortunately, that's always been like that. It's just that the internet age has accelerated that process. You know, I mean, there's many great artists and writers and thinkers that we don't know about that subsequent giants have stolen from, or well, what is stealing actually? Yeah.
Like, are you trying to like make a work that lives throughout history, or just trying to make $1? I mean, it's fine if you want to make $1.
Yeah.
Because I'm broke as shit, and I've I totally get it, man. Don't do anything I do. Actually, I'm a very bad example of everything. But
oh man, don't you work a normie job though?
I do.
You were gonna marry some Italian girl, you said, but then
yeah, that's old lore. That's been
that's
there was a lot of stuff going on. Trust me, if there's no bitches worth talking about these days.
Oh man. But anyways, to get back to the book, no, but that is true. It's sort of like, and I think a big part of, for example, the motivation of Novitzin, when he went back into the hallway, besides saving his brother, was that he did experience that loss, or rather, he experienced like the negative side of fame and attention by being sort of like a gutless exploiter of other suffering in the character of Delisle.
He's the worst. He's a fucking journalist.
Yeah.
Pictures of like the baby so that everyone can go, oh, let's bring in more brown people. It's him. He's the guy.
Yeah. And like really going back to
save photograph was an actual photograph too. That was the one that's worked into the book.
Yes.
That's a real one.
No, that is a real one. The actual photojournalist, he ended up redacting himself. He ended up checking out after he won the Pulitzer for photojournalism.
That's supposed to be Navidson.
Yeah. When you read that though, did you find any like I know, like for example, there was this one line about how it was like really the only inherent political character of it, in the sense of the gratuitousness of vicariously living through suffering and through the suffering of the other, and how that sort of dialectic really compelled Novitzin to have this like supreme guilt over it, but yet he benefited nevertheless. And so
he inverted it and set it on himself. That's why he started recording his family in the first place. Like, okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, but explain to people that haven't read the book, like why did he start recording the house and his family? And well, I know like they started off like,
well, he had a bunch of different reasons. You know, he wanted to do like a project. He was like a dad who just won the Pulitzer, made the family very rich. He's like, we're moving to a new place, and I don't know, let's make it's the most. It's because this is like the most common found footage film premise ever now. When you put it in like the context of when Dunlewski was writing the Blair Witch Project has not come out yet.
Yeah, no, exactly.
The book came out only very, very soon after that and had been written a bit before that. So, but it's like, I'm just going to make like a movie, like recording our daily life and the process of moving in and how that changes, perspective. It's going to be like a very introspective about the average American family moving, when everybody is aware that it's not the average American family. It's an actress married to a journalist who, it's it's very loaded. So he understands how constructed all is on its face, but he still does it anyway. And his family's like, okay, all right.
And then his brother gets involved and they discover that the measurements of the house don't exactly match up to the
right, and just plan. Like so conveniently just happens to be in the house of a guy who's recording everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, but then you go, like, it's like, oh, like, totally normal family, not finds this house that has an infinite room. Yeah. Oh my god. And it changes and it swallows people whole. Yeah, that totally exactly like had to happen to like a journalist married to an actress. It's like, yeah.
You would never believe these people, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is like the whole idea. That's why nobody is like, okay, well, it's like fake, obviously.
Yeah. No, but also this was the time before reality television like really took off in the early 2000s. Like this was before like Welcome to the Oz. What was that called with Ozzy Osbourne, that show? Welcome to the Osbournes?
Something
What
like
was it
that.
called?
I don't know.
Yeah. Like Survivor hadn't been out. Well, maybe Survivor just came out. Like reality for those Zoomers that don't know, like reality television back in like the early 2000s was everything. Like Big Brother. Well, I guess reality television still exists.
But yeah, when the book came out, found footage was not really a big genre. It was just coming out. So this was really the case of, I guess, synchronicity with the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah. Because and the Blair Witch Project, obviously, like the and you hear like all the horror stories of like what the crew actually went through and how they were like told to essentially like live it out in hiding in some hotel room for like 5 months to like promote the movie. And there really was sort of the last time you could have an art project that distorted people's sense of reality. Because of course nowadays with the internet, we like
now we live in a distorted sense of reality.
Yeah, exactly.
We are always in the art project now. That's the hyper real, man. We're in the magic war.
Yeah, that's why people say that like kayfabe in pro wrestling could never come back because they'll automatically like back in the, I mean, that's not true because back in the day they did have
if you just made the news involve wrestling, you could make pro wrestling come back.
Yeah.
You have like a Democrat wrestler and he comes in and he wrestles a Republican wrestler and it's like, you're racist, you know, you're a communist, and like the winner is the guy who beats him. Like, we could really just do away with elections, honestly. We could just have wrestling.
No, it's true. I said this about Tony Khan and AEW. Like, if they wanted to like really like bring megabucks into the business again, if they really wanted to like draw dimes, they would have Jack Hager bring back that character he did for a little bit, where he's like this is like before MAGA. He was like a Tea Party like racist or whatever. And Zeb Coulter was his manager, who was like a neo-Confederate. Like they could honestly like do that because there's already like, you know, there's already like impossible women.
We could have a new wrestler represent, you know, like we could have like
they had that in Memphis wrestling in the 80s.
A KKK wrestler. We could have a versus KKK like now.
Yeah.
Like we could really play around with it. There's a lot of different kinds of villains we could go with.
They'll have a Black Hebrew Israelite like Yakubian wrestler.
Right. Like we could have like Nation of Islam versus, you know, BLM, who's like, you know, more normified, like LM.
Will they have like lesbian black wrestlers in AEW?
Well, okay, of course now they do. What I mean is like,
we
need them in the pantheon where they can wrestle a Nazi, okay? Like who's gonna beat their ass.
We need this. You know, it's true.
It's absolutely necessary for the culture for this to happen, because otherwise it's going to be a lot of this pretentious, I'm going to punch you in the face online stuff where they're never going to come into your address. Whereas if we do this as a media project, not nationwide, you know, different ideologies go on TV and debate wrestle at the same time. We could externalize all our weird political feelings and move on with our lives.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, the libtards beat our ass yesterday, but you know, there's always the libertarians are going to kick their ass tomorrow. You know.
Yeah, we're gonna have the Chud. He's going to win. Yeah, the Amarnite enemy.
Top dog ideology will be determined by, you know, who kicks the most ass. I mean, this is the most orc idea ever.
No, this happened. This was back in like 2003. They had Scott Steiner. It was on Monday Night Raw. They had this. I think he actually did go to Harvard. His name was Chris Nowinski. He was like this college-educated libtard, and he was debating the Iraq War with Scott Steiner, who's like rah rah America, and of course Steiner, of course, gave him the Steiner screwdriver at the end, and
that's
broke him.
what we need. This way kids will get educated because it has the same appeal as Dragon Ball Z. That's why everybody loves Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it's true.
Like I hear it's all over Mexico. It's Dragon Ball Z and it's Evangelion. It's all of their marketing.
Yeah, like a lot of Hispanic women like anime. There's like a lot of Hispanic anime girls now. So like that's like that really is like the dream of
actually. Let me just say, the anime fandom is not racist enough.
Yeah.
We could all the anime racists on Twitter, they're doing great job, but they're not really.
They gotta step it up, and then you have like localizers that want to like
they're watching it in Portuguese.
Yeah, they want to like put ghetto slang into anime. Like it's not good.
It's going crazy.
Yeah. But anyways, let's go back to the book. So like no, but I wanted to bring up Delisle because, of course, like it's one of the few aspects in the book that is based in reality. And I was actually doing a rabbit hole, like deep dive on the actual name Delisle being a reference to, and Danilewski does mention Greek mythology quite a bit, especially Orpheus, the Minotaur, how it's a reference to the island of Delos, which was not connected to either the sea or the land in Greece, and that is why what's her name, Leto, who was impregnated with twins that became Artemis and I forget the other one by Zeus, had the twins on the Isle of Delos, and for a long time you could not die. It was illegal to both die and give birth on this particular island. And I think like what's implied is that event is what kicked off Novitzon's blood-sucking journalist career, but that name Delisle obviously was chosen for a reason. Like, let me read to you a bit of my research here. So, in the Olympian scheme, King Zeus is the father of her twins, Apollo and Artemis, whom Leto, conceived of her hidden beauty, accidentally caught the eye of Zeus. Here is one to have 7 monstrous pythons. So, Zeus's wife Hera at the time was like, this like harpy, house wrecker is like getting impregnated by my husband. Sent the serpent after her. So Leto eventually found an island, Delos, who is not joined by the mainland or attached to the ocean floor. Therefore, it's not considered land or island she could give birth. So again, that's sort of like, kind of like the house. It's a nowhere land, right? And of course, the island of Delos, it was illegal to die or give birth. And of course, the word dalu in Greek means to declare or to show, or it's a gateway to a sort of liminality, which I know is a meme term, but it comes up over and over again in the book. And then finally, women of the island of Delos, the masculine equivalent of Delia is Delio. Related names include Adila, Badilia, was more popular in the 20th century name today. And so that really is there's different interpretations of like why Delisle was the name, but I do think it relates because of Danilewski's interest in the Greek pantheon. I do think that there is something there in terms of a place that you cannot be born in, a place that you cannot die in, a place that is not connected to an arid island that is not connected to anything, but then is a birthplace of two monumental opposites in the Greek pantheon, Apollo and Artemis. The mother, the birth, the sort of huntress, her mother being the mother of that sort of Apollonian rationality. There's a lot of significance there, but I wonder like what your interpretation was, or it could have just been like the inspiration for a journalist who's banking on the suffering of others, like all journalists do.
I did not read into that name nearly as much as you did, so I'm sorry if I don't have a big interpretation here.
Yeah, no, it's all right. No, but that's what I mean. Like, I think they're like Novitzon when he's like running out of food and he's running out of light in the room. after he's like biking for like miles and miles and miles, which is really impossible because he has I believe, a step counter with him. And of course, there is a bunch of like paradoxes. This very
where he falls down a hole and he falls longer than it could possibly ever, longer than the diameter of the Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, like, for example, in like a lot of these like backroom compilations by these like kids that make these animations, there's always like that 80s or 90s home recording camera dates on the for Zoomers who don't know, they used to have like the dates in the margins, but those dates always change, implying that there's sort of a timelessness to the backrooms. But I wonder, like, Orcbrand, like, why do you think I'm not like bashing Zoomers, by the way. Why do you think like younger millennials and Zoomers, apart from like us living in like post-modernity or whatever, why do you think that there is such an obsession with space and with this voided nature of space that is literally nowhere? Like, what do you think, like, that is the cultural moment? Like, the 2010s had zombies for obvious reasons. Now we have the backrooms.
There's nothing. We're not going anywhere, man. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
we're kind of stuck in a kind of a stagnation for the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
That all these promises that have been promised are not delivered, and you're just in an endless hallway, wandering, waiting for something, anything that can happen, but nothing ever happens. Yeah. Halfway to anywhere and nowhere.
But then they ruin it by like putting some monster in there. What they call
there is a monster in there, man. There's a monster with us.
Yeah,
we're not going anywhere. We're stuck here with.
Yeah.
So I don't blame it. Like, it's a perfect expression of the cultural moment. It's exactly what's going on right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuck in a meaningless hallway with irrational monsters, and why? Just fell through a goddamn hallway. Why?
It's the most ethical thing we can do. I remember, like, you had this tweet about House of Leaves about, you were like engaging with some art ho in the bookstore. And
well, I was picking up this copy of the book because I gave mine to someone else and I never got it back. I think it's in Pittsburgh now.
Yeah.
Like, it's a horror, right? It's like, kinda. It's the horror of writing a book
that you read. Yeah, you said. Yeah.
And then have to read it. It's very abstract. The horror aspect is a little overrated with the book. It's if you go into it looking like a horror book, you might end up pissed off.
Thank you for listening to the Content Minded podcast. If you wish to support me and listen to every episode in full, then please go to patreon.com/giantartproductions and substack.com/Geo's Content Corner. There you will find the full archive of every Content Minded episode, as well as every Giant Art Review episode, and exclusive to all patrons, the weekly Cole Report, where I break down interesting stories and discourse from throughout the week. Subscribe today to keep the content renaissance alive.